Basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. I have
no. This is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
All right. Hey, guess what? Good evening. My name is Mark Benshop, and it's 12 minutes after 8 o'clock. I know I'm a few minutes late. My apologies. I'm going to tell you guys why I was late, but those things do happen in life, right? Okay. So it's 13 minutes after 8 o'clock, 13 minutes after 9 o'clock in Guyana. Good afternoon or good night to all of you. Good morning, wherever you are. I see a lot of you there. Wayne Caesar, I was looking for you. I was looking for you, Wayne. Lemon and I were looking for you, but we have Lincoln tonight. We'll see if we get a quick comment from Brother Wayne Caesar, who has been busy these days, off traveling to Texas, traveling all over, but he is still with us. Wayne Caesar. Good night to you, my friend. Good night, Peggy. Peggy Elias. How are you doing, Peggy? Guess who is on with us tonight, Peggy? Guess who? Your favorite trade unionist is with us tonight. Ann Evans, I know Ann gets upset when her name doesn't call. Evadne, how are you? All of you, every single one of you. Good night and welcome. Hey, lots of things happening. Guess what? These folks are fighting over a seat. I really want to laugh, right? I really do want to laugh. Anna still trying to convince TNM leader to relinquish, join their party seat in parliament. They're begging, oh, please come off the seat now. Oh, please come off the seat. Many of you guys remember this guy, right? What's his name again? But he's there. He was fighting. He sued under the coalition government. He sued the process as to how certain people can become senior counsel and all. That same Timothy Jonas. Oh, yeah, senior counsel and this and that. All because of probably just jealous. I don't know. Just saying that. And as soon as the PPP was installed, they all jump in the same bed together. They were singing the same tune. I'm sure they knew that the elections were rigged and the PPP was actually installed. And all of them spoke the fancy language as though they believe in democracy and they will do this and they will fight for the people. You name me one thing that they have fought for the people. As soon as they got into office, the first seat that they occupied, and Schumann occupied that seat, he jumped right in bed. He started hug up, kiss up, chatty up. He do all sort of things to the PPP because they never cared about the people. And this lady now, Dr. whatever, Asha Kissoon, whatever her name is, she talked about, what she's going to do for the people. As soon as she got in there, guess what? Blam, zoom, it's done. It's done. And so she doesn't want to get out of parliament now because the soup probably sweet, and the seat nice. Because as soon as she got in there, they got the same arrangement for her to become the deputy. One seat they get, and the PPP thought that, she can become the deputy speaker. And so she doesn't want to get out. She doesn't want to get out of that seat at all. So that's why I say, kya, as they would say in Guyana, right? If there are some folks who are not from Guyana and may not understand what kya means, somebody in the audience tell them what kya means. Now let's head straight to Georgetown. Lincoln Brandon Lewis, veteran trade unionist, is with us this evening. Oh, thank you, Lemon. Lemon showing the handcuffs, right? News reaching 107.1 FM is that a top PPP individual may be in handcuffs somewhere in the U.S. whenever they visit, whoever the person is. I don't know, but at that time, we will see whoever. I'm not letting no cat out of the bag at all. Don't message me and ask me, is who Mark? Is who? You Guyanese, some of you Guyanese are like that. Is who Mark? Is who? Moving away from that now, let's go to this. 6 years this guy spent in prison. 6 years after the DPP recommended murder charges against him. 6 years. He was a former best cop. He went out there. I'm told by some sources within the Guyana police force that he did a good job while he was a best cop. But they planted this murder on him. The director of public prosecution, some say persecution, DPP, department or whatever, director of persecution, decided that they're going to charge him. And look what happened. 6 years. 6 years he spent. And then the DPP withdraws murder charge against the cop. You know what? He's going right back into the police force, man. It could be so unfair that when these guys plant evidence on you and do all manner of things, well, you know what happens. Let's get straight to business, man. I don't want to have Lincoln Lewis waiting, not even 30 seconds long. This is a man who put his life on the line for all of us. But then again, they get some of y'all, they think, look, nobody's perfect, but some could come close to being perfect. This man put his life on the line, continues to put his life on the line, and we've got to give credit where credit is due. Lincoln, good night and welcome to Straight Up. How are you, sir?
I am great, Mark. Enjoying every moment.
Yeah, we got some
working
business.
hard.
Yeah, we got to get down to some business. Good night again, Lincoln. How are you?
Hello?
There we go. Now that we get your attention, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Well, I am tonight with you, ready to get on with the business. I don't want to keep the viewership waiting.
All right, good. So what is your take? What is your take on this, Lincoln? DPP withdraws murder charge against this cop, now saying that there's no evidence. If you have no evidence, how the heck they charge him in the first recommended charges in the first place? Your take on this, please, sir.
Well, I want to tell you something, this is a very corrupt regime, Maybe no one knows if he was guilty or he did them something that caused him to be charged in the first instance. But knowing the PPP, when they withdraw charges against somebody, is that they are preparing to give them some dirty work to do. That's how the PPP operate. You pay for everything that you receive, and in paying, you have to do their work, do their bidding. Even if you get a little contract for $300,000 and you make $20,000, you still have to pay something to them. This is how they operate. Right. I don't know the cop. I don't know him. And I don't want to know much of him. I want us to make sure that we remain vigilant and make sure that we don't become the victim of the PPP shenanigans at any time.
Absolutely, well said. But according to information, and I probably would share that later on with the people, is that the police knew who the killer was. They just knew who did the job, and this was a popular guy who was, he had his stall at the Berbice Car Park. I believe it called Sugar or something like that. They called him. The police knew exactly what happened, but it is what it is. Injustice to some extent, based on the evidence that you got somebody sitting in prison for 6 years and then suddenly decides that you're going to withdraw charges against that person. I don't know. There could be dozens more persons languishing in prison, just like this former cop. Now he's going to be reinstated. Let's move on to some other stuff, Lincoln. We have some very, very important things to discuss here this evening. One of them, not that this is so important, but what is your take on ANOG, the squabble between ANOG and the TNM leader, so-called leader, not wanting to vacate her seat? To me, it's laughable. What about you?
You know what is power? The young lady tastes what is political power and privilege, and so be it. That's what it is. It's difficult for her to give up. That's it. Mark, I do not say very good things at times, and I'm in a very good mood to talk about these people. Anybody who you see, I don't look for perfection in people, but anybody who you see join a bandwagon to deny people of rights in society, and more so, these people you see, these guys who you see during that post-balloting in 2020, how they perform, these guys, I'm going to tell you something about anybody here who prepare to tolerate, know fully well that ballot boxes were there without the supporting evidence, and those votes, they insist that they be included. I don't have much regard for them. While we all will want to accept that shenanigans take place in elections maybe all over the world. But while it takes place, I want to make it very clear. If all of us walk down the road, or all of us who seek leadership walk down the road, and we want to encourage people to be involved in shenanigans, in lawlessness, we are going to have a lawless society and a lawless world. And I'm not going to. So what you see is going on there, it is as a result of the quality of people that find themselves running for political office in this country. The young people have to see and take another look at this thing here and work for a change. Work for a change. They have encouraged the issue of counting ballots, including them in the official count, when in fact they want supporting documentation to see whether they are valid or not. I have no sympathy for them. So don't ask me much believing. I have no, well, let me tell you something. I'm not going to be saying to them, saying or responding in kind words to them. I will not sit in the same pew with them. I will not tolerate them for what they have done to this nation. Plenty of us run around and talk about re-election and all kind of thing, these things, guys. What they had wanted to do is to rig their way to power. And when you start wrong, you're going to end wrong. And that's what happened here.
All right, 26 minutes after 8 o'clock, we're looking at those guys from this so-called ANOG. And you know, ANOG, the meaning of ANOG is really a mouth disease, a gum disease. And TNM party, God in heaven knows where these people just pop out from. They're fighting for one seat in parliament. It's good. Let them fight, man. We have other things to talk about. Lincoln, quickly before we go to the teachers' strike now called off and so forth. March 2nd, we touched briefly on it. The PPP just out there with their propaganda about coalition rigging elections. There's no evidence of that. In fact, the only evidence that we have seen points in the direction of the PPP rigging the elections. They have several persons before the court on trumped up charges. Roxanne Myers, Kit Lowenfield, Mr. Mingo, and others, without these charges even being heard. 4 years now, yet they have the audacity to stand up and talk about rigged elections and try to blame the coalition. How pompous could these people in the PPP be, sir?
Look, Mark, some people, let me tell you, you don't dismiss them. A number of persons, you don't seek to dismiss them. But all they can do is regurgitate the lines that are given to them. This whole question of re-election, I've heard it from a number of years. I've heard it. But the only elections that were vitiated in this country was the 1997 one. And remember, Samine squatted on the TUF, not TUF, on the AFC seat in Region 10. Yeah. Samines. The evidence was there. But what they did, the chief election officer went out there, and while it was drawn to his attention, he said, let them go to, he's going to declare and let them go to election petition. Right? Remember that?
Yep.
Remember it?
Go cool.
Okay.
Go cool,
it wasn't
go
wrong
cool,
then.
Go cool, Budu, 2006.
Right? Who are these guys, man? I'm tired of this thing about re-election, man. You understand me? And
these are the people.
I tell you what. You see what happened there? I'm going to tell you, see what the PPP is doing? The opposition, the other side of the aisle, has to take some responsibility for it. Because when they started regurgitating these things about re-elections and so what have you, and number of years ago, rather than the opposition seek to debunk what these people were saying, you know what they were saying? They had took the lazy route out and said we will not dignify those things with a comment, right? We will not dignify them with a comment. And repeating one thing so often, it becomes now not only a rhetoric, like a rhetoric in society, but becomes truth to a number of people. Even when you repeat a lie so often, the lie becomes the truth, because that is all people hearing. They have to take responsibility too for what has happened when it comes to this lie. Look at the recent strike. Every one of the ministers, though they know they're lying, every day they come out with the same thing. They say we have been talking with the GTU, and the GTU walk off the table. The GTU have been asking, you bring the evidence of where we sat down and we discussed and we agree on these things. They can't bring the evidence, but they come back next day and they lie and they lie and they lie. And these are type of things. We have to shut the lies down. While the people may have gone back to work, you got to call out Ali, because he's the other side of the coin to Jagdio. Jagdio on one side and he on the side. Lies and lies and lies. And people got to start, I'll tell you what. Before you ask me a question, before we go into this, let me tell you something. People, every time Jagdio come out and call people names, people got to respond and call him names. Respond and call him names. If he tell you this, you tell you. If he call you dog, you call him cat. Because cat don't like milk. You got to drink it. So,
Turn to 1 minute after 8 o'clock.
Let me hear you now, Mark. I believe you got some things you want to ask me.
Yes, I definitely want to ask you some things indeed, and let's welcome all of our listeners from around the world, wherever you guys are. Good night and welcome to 107.1 FM. Bantu King and all, Barbara Barrington, Lily Govia, CC Forbes, Deborah Archer, Rhonda Lane, all of you guys. If we don't call your names, don't get upset. Sandra Facey Fassi, how are you doing? All right, so let's get here. I want to ask you something. You guys had a press conference today. We didn't get a chance to cover the press conference. Can you tell us a little bit about the press conference? I know it had to do with joining the notice of application, urgent notice. What's this all about, please? Talk to us.
Let me tell you, Mark, there are two major things in this case with the Guyana Teachers Union and the Ministry of Education. One is where they said they are going to cut the pay of the teachers who were on strike, and two, the issue of the checkoff. Right? These are serious matters that impact on the total well-being of the entire trade union movement. And the Guyana Trade Union Congress has a mandate by way of its own constitution that these are issues that it will have to address. And because of the gravity of the situation, we believe that it's important that we be enjoined in the court in defense of those things. Let me tell you something. The grievance procedure between the Ministry of Education and the Trade Union and the Guyana Teachers Union has three stages. One is bilateral, where the ministry and the union will meet and discuss a matter. if you fail to come to an agreement at that level, the next stage is conciliation. But let me tell you that at the bilateral level, it has stipulated time span for you to discuss an issue. In the case of the collective labor agreement, it's a general question, what we call a general question in industrial relation, because it impacts on a group of workers, and not only the group in this case here, but the total bargaining unit. And it is for that reason it calls a general question. The parties can decide after they start discussion whether they go beyond the stipulated time period to work out their differences. If after working for some time, they decide there have not been an agreement between the parties, either one of the parties can move to request conciliation through the office of the chief labor officer. In this specific case, the chief labor officer was written to, and he never replied to the request for conciliation, and he never met with the union. It went beyond that. After the union did not get a response and the time had expired, they write for arbitration. He decided that he's not going to reply to. And there's only one reason they did not reply, and I'm going to tell you that reason. Because Barra Jack Dio has become the Minister of Labor in this case here, and Anil Lalalan has taken up the office, usurping the office of the Chief Labor Officer, right? They decide that they're going to color the ministry and they're going to make the decisions. So when the union did not get a response for arbitration, the union issued an ultimatum. And that ultimatum for 2 weeks strike action. You know what they said? Because the union, and here where they were outmaneuvered, the union said 2 weeks. So they decided that they are not going to wait the union out. It's 2 weeks they have asked for. They said they will strike. So in the second week, by midway second week, they didn't come to the table. So the union said, write them and tell them that we are going to strike indefinitely. They were outmaneuvered. They were outmaneuvered. They didn't expect that shot from the union. So they decided in the first instance that they're going to talk with the union. They're saying that we must return to the union must return to the bargaining table. And that's what they're saying all the time. That was the talking point. The union must return. Ali and Jack View that's the talking point, must return to the bargaining table. So the union went on for 2 more weeks, 2 more plus weeks. And then yesterday, in first instance, when they went to the court, when the court appointed the mediators, they went there and said, they want the union to come back to negotiate. Let me come back to the bargaining table. And so be it. And let's talk. The fact that you didn't talk for 3+ years, you were not meeting the union to negotiate a new collective labor agreement. How are you telling us, let's go back to the table? They're so cunning, lie and cunning, to say to the world that we want you to return to the bargaining table. Well, yes, they sign an agreement through the process of the facilitator.
I was going to ask your take, Lincoln, before I get back to another
question.
question. I was going to ask your take on this agreement that was signed yesterday.
All right, let me go on to tell you.
Sure, sir.
The issue here is that the union is not returning to the bargaining table. The issue here is that the government is now being brought to the bargaining table because they were never there. It is the strength of the muscles and the strength of the members of the Guyana Teachers Union, supported by the wider society and the court of this country, the High Court, that drag the Ali, Jagdio, and the whole bunch of them to the screaming to the bargaining table. It's a major victory for those people who have spent 4 weeks plus picketing out there. They were picketing for collective bargaining. They were picketing for collective bargaining. They have decided that they are going to go to the table. This is not a return to the table. They were never, at the 3+ years, they were never at the bargaining table to discuss the proposals for a new collective labor agreement. So when Ali, they say that we have one thing, they said, one said they said what? One said they agree on 25 things, another one said 26, one said 31. You don't know which one. They so lie that you don't know which one of them to believe. But the fact is that you have had an agreement. They are now going to the table on Tuesday, on Thursday morning. And I believe that the union is preparing for a tough battle. And against that backdrop, I want to urge the members of the union and the wider society, we have to stay engaged. We have to stay engaged.
What about, Lincoln, the position of folks who believe, and I am included in that, but you're the veteran trade unionist, that
what position, what?
To get the teachers off the streets now and go to the table to discuss. You're not going back to the table. There was never any discussion. The union was asking, the teachers, they were asking for discussion so that they can get to some sort of respectable agreement as it pertains to the 6.5. Now that they're going to the table, it's kind of like going there with a blank check, or when you go to cash that check, it says insufficient funds. There's really nothing to celebrate here about, is it?
Let me say to you, I always say to people, my colleagues in the movement, the easiest thing is to call a strike. The hardest thing is to do is to maintain it. And the most difficult thing is to call it off. You know why? Because there are different messages that get in the way during the strike. This strike was called specifically, on the issue of collective bargaining. This is what the strike was called for, right? And they have been able to get the government to come to the table, the employer to come to the kicking and screaming. The question of the 6.5% was never in the equation. Somebody developed it. There were a number of messages that I heard during this strike that developed by varying persons and groups that were never on the table. What was on the table is the issue of the industrial action was specifically on the issue of collective bargaining. That is what it was on. And if you have been able to get them to come to the table, you have to see it as a major victory, because that's what it was. You see, I'll tell you another thing too, is that in this business, if you want to remain, when it comes to the issue of industrial relation or trade unionism, you are guided by international principles, conventions, laws, and a constitution of this country. When you're dealing with politicians who are making decisions we're talking about politicians who don't care a damn all they're concerned about is power. They don't care about laws, they don't care about rules, all they care about is to destroy institutions that they feel will question their motive. In this case, the union has to be careful that it do not be seen in the national and international community as an institution that is flip-flopping. What they came out for is for collective bargaining, and they stuck to it. And what they going back to the table or going to the table with the government is a victory, and it must be seen that way. They're not going back. They won a victory. They're bringing them to the table. The agreement says very clear about the things that can be discussed. They can throw in more things. And if I have the opportunity to advise them, I will tell them to rewrite the entire proposal and put it in front of them. Because this proposal was developed since 2020, right? It has been overtaken by a number of events and time. Put a new proposal in front of them and get a team that fires from all cylinder to go there and deal with this matter.
Let me ask
you cannot take chances, and I urge them not to take any chances with these guys.
Are you optimistic of something valuable coming out for the teachers in this?
I want to tell you something. I am optimistic about one thing, that the people of this country, inclusive of the media, is more vigilant today and will be more vigilant tomorrow. That is the optimism that I have, and will hold any government accountable.
Lincoln Lewis here for us. You guys, the Guyana Trades Union Congress, you guys have supported the teachers' strike from day one. And let me commend you guys for that. In the Guyana Trades Union Congress, you have been out there with them, Norris Witter, and others. Why do you suppose other unions, such as maybe the Guyana Public Service Union, didn't come out in full support of this strike?
Give me back that question about the Guyana Public Service Union.
They just issued an ultimatum, and that was it. There was no other form of support for this strike.
Since the issuing of the ultimatum, I have not had the opportunity of having an in-depth discussion with the Public Service Union. So I don't know what kept them from activating the ultimatum. But what I do know, that the Guyana Teachers Union today is the largest union in this country and can be effective, strong, and resolute in any struggle. And you have shown it over the last 4+ weeks. And they have indicated to the government that has all the state sources available at their disposal, that they can fight, and they're prepared to fight.
So again, they head back to the table. Lots of teachers are...
They're not getting that set back to the table. They are now going to the table.
Fair enough. They
were never there.
A lot of teachers that I have seen, they're commenting on social media and so forth, are not too happy. And let me just say, GAWU has not supported this strike either. FITAG has not supported this strike, but thanks to you guys also in the Guyana Trades Union Congress that have supported this strike from day one. And I repeat, from day one. What is it? Let me get straight to a comment. If Lemon can put that on the screen. Yeah, this is from Irfan Ali. Irfan Ali is saying exactly what they have been saying all along. Exactly what they've been saying all along. No different. Return to work and allow the process that was ongoing to continue. What process is he talking about that was ongoing?
Well, that's why I said earlier that our finale is the other side of the coin. Jagdi on one side and you on your. Both of these men are lying. You were never negotiating. But what they have done, this is the talking point. Let's go back to the table. You were never the table. And that is what led to the strike. Because you never came to the table. The president and the general secretary of the union has been asking all the time, bring the evidence out there to show where we have agreed, we're at the table, we have discussed these matters, we have agreed to them. And let me tell you something, the basic thing in when you're negotiating a contract, there's what you call, there's a procedure, and there's a principle. The principle is that nothing is agreed until all is agreed upon. And the procedure is when you discuss a matter and you may find a common ground on it, is that you initial it. Okay? That is the procedure. The principle is that nothing is agreed until all is agreed. What it means, until all the things are agreed upon, then you have an agreement. You understand what I'm saying, Mark? This is how this thing operates. Bring to the public and show to the public the procedure, the evidence based on the procedure. They have not been able to do it, which is indicative that they never had it. But many of us in society, we tend to gravitate to what comes from an office or a position of privilege and power, right? We seek not to want to question them. But in this case here, they have brought themselves to the point where even President Light, who I know is a pastor and don't want to say harsh things about them, was prepared to take when they lie, he was prepared to take his gloves off. And this is a man who never be saying lie. This time he's saying, they lie. They lie. But I want to tell you something. Ali has now joined Jagdiu. Jagdiu lie. He lie now. He lie again to cover it up. And he lie again for another thing. And then he lie again. Every time he tells a lie. And the same thing, Ali has now joined the thing. So he's on the other side of the coin. It's two liars we get running this at the top of this country's government that lies all the time.
The lie. We still have a few minutes remaining because we are going to make way for Burke's program tonight. I think he has a bunch of people, about over 100 guests he has tonight on his show. So we have a few minutes remaining here on Straight Up. But let me ask you this question, Mr. Lewis, concerning the...
Comrade, please.
Comrade Lewis, the newly elected CEO of the Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union. Free and fair elections. It was done. Majority of the members say to hell with the old management team. They don't want them there. They got kicked out. But what is your take with this recent news about the Minister of Labor getting involved in this whole union matter? What's happening, sir?
Let me tell you something. What is happening all the time is indicative that there's a team, that is there. They're working in concert with the minister. The minister himself, the whole group of them, they don't want to see certain type of people managing anything. If you look a certain way, you will have to. The only way they're going to support you is that you have to sing their tune and dance to it. You have to sing their tune and dance to it. And that's what Ben and the entire team is not prepared to do. Okay? The credit union has a lot of funds, and they intend to put their hand on that fund to do their thing. I heard of some stories. That is happening in that organization. I hope that they go back to Mr. Ben, who have been elected chairman. They go back to the court as early as possible and have the court validate the activities that were conducted last Saturday. And let us see what they will do after. You know, there are so many things you heard. I saw a letter where the letter was written to they're asking for a list of the members of the credit union, and a response was given that they will not be gifted to them to run the election. This is how what manner of men and women are these? Why are you doing this? Why you sit down there and saying that you are not going to move, in as much you were never nominated to run? You just decide that this credit union is yours. You're going to grab it by its throat, and you're going to do what you want to do with people's money. I want to tell you something, you know. I want to tell you this. You see all these actions with this government and people like them in the credit union, it's them just make terrorists. It's them just make terrorists, all these people. Right?
Quickly before we go, let me just show you guys what transpired yesterday. Horrible. I mean, I don't take comfort in showing it, but it's ridiculous, horrible. Here we go.
People wicked. Any time at all, the wickedness can come out by. It just depends on when them choose, bro.
Lincoln, quickly, were you surprised at that sort of behavior?
I'm surprised. I am surprised. I am taken back. It's the first time I'm seeing this footage. Why should people be doing this? These people are the people who want to lead people. Something is definitely wrong. But when you examine it, it is conduct of this nature that is being fed and protected and fed by the PPP. That's what they're doing. I am concerned of the people who are allowing themselves to be used by the PPP for maybe an invitation to a cocktail or a party. They won't get to the cocktail and get to a party, a rough down, shop down party. That's the problem.
Lincoln, just before we go, closing remarks and leave the teachers with something to hold on to. I
want to tell you.
Sure, go ahead.
I want to tell you this. I want to say this to the teachers. You enter the battlefield because you want to change your way of life. You want to improve, we want increased wages, salaries, and improve working conditions. You have made a mark and you have sent a message that you are a resolute group of people. I want to encourage you to stay engaged. Hold your leaders' foot to the fire. Work with them. No longer you must sit down and believe that the union is Mark Light, Coretta McDonald, and others. Don't believe that. You are the union. It is a long time we didn't see so many women at the front line. And I want to tell you that from my own vantage point is that I have faith in you. I always believe in my own experience that when you give 10 men assignments, 2 will come back completing those assignments. But when you give 10 women, I am going to tell you something, the minimum 8 will come back completing their assignments in the trade union movement, in my trade union life. I want to tell you this. You have a good thing. Hold on to it. Hold on to it. You guys got to take on leadership at the branch level, at the district level, and at the school level. In every school, you must have a union rep now. The struggle continues. We want to see you out there discussing with your leaders the proposals that will be sent to the government for negotiation. I want to see you, I want to encourage you to demand that at intervals while the negotiation is going on, you'll be brought up to date, face to face, not only on social media. You must demand of your leaders to come in your district, come to your schools and talk about it, express your opinion. That's the only way you can have the best out of this situation. Some of you may be concerned about some aspect of the agreement, but I want to urge you that in life, you don't get everything that you want. And while you may not get everything that you want, you will have to build on what you have. And today, let's start building. Let us hold hands and let us move on. Let us make sure that we have a collective labor agreement that addresses the needs of the teachers who have made it possible for every man in this society to receive an education and to be able to do better as we move on in life. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, my brothers and sisters.
Thank you, Lincoln, and thank you for all your work out there, and thank you for the Guyana Trades Union Congress for being there with the teachers, on the side of the teachers. You guys have a court matter that obviously came about even before they went into some negotiating room. Let's see what come out of that. But Lincoln, thank you so much for your time. I know you've had a busy day. God bless you, sir. All right, so we'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time. You guys can head over if you have the time. Burke has about 100 and something folks he's interviewing tonight. It will be interesting to hear what they have to say. That's if you guys go over to watch. But let me head on to my other job, which is babysitting. God bless you all. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata, Francis Vietnam, and since 1965, I become a voter. And I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
So, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington law firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata, Francis Vietnam, and since 1965, I become a voter. And I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. I have none.